would you feel about a hose which is probably and quite possibly the last hose you're ever going to buy? This is the Bernini 40-foot no-kink expanding metal hose with a specialty nozzle. Now, I love this hose. I own a couple Berninis at my house because I have a hose bib in the front and the back. They work like a charm. They repel the sunlight. They do not kink. They're puncture proof. And something like this is really great when you're looking to wash off the pavers. Maybe you are watering the flowers. Maybe you are looking to refresh your deck area and just clean it off a bit. We're going to help you do all of that. This is M95294, and we've got color choices for you. Now, here in the studio, I have this in the gray, and when you talk about color with the Bernini hose, look at the nozzle, because the hose itself is this beautiful gray or chrome color. This is the gray in our nozzle. This is the blue in our nozzle. We also have it for you in the green in our nozzle. And then on videotape, we have the red. And the red is most limited. Please don't wait on this. One side fits every standard spigot in America, and it's designed so it doesn't snap off or pull off, and it doesn't kink or doesn't bend so it restricts the water flow. This is a remarkable item. And if you leave it in the driveway and run over it with your car, don't get nervous, because this is designed to withstand all of that weight. Joining us now to talk about it is Jack Yeiser. He is the son of Chris Yeiser and brings us this remarkable hose. And Jack, welcome back to QVC. It's good to have you here, buddy.
Oh, thank you for having me on. And I'm so glad to be bringing this to everyone at home. We love bringing you the metal hoses because we saw this as the ultimate upgrade. And again, what you're getting is you're getting this super flexible hose that snakes across the ground. And you can see, you might think, oh, metal hose is gonna be stiff and rigid, but look at how much movement we get in that. Look at how loose that is. And then the other thing I think that is amazing too is it is so flexible that we can not only tie it in knots, you know, from spout to spigot, we got 30 to 40 knots in here. And what you're gonna see is, even with all these knots, you're still gonna get perfect water flow. Unlike a rubber hose that can't handle one kink, look at this. I get perfect water flow exactly where I want it, no loss of pressure. Even with 40 knots in the hose, I still get perfect pressure all the time.
Now, Jack, apologies. Your father's name is John, not Chris. There's another gardening guest named Chris that I was thinking about. Forgive me for that. And bless your heart for not correcting me. But this is very, very important. Now, this was something that I believe your sister helped your dad design, right?
Correct, correct. It was my sister Aubrey. Now, her main thing that she pointed out was that we all have rubber hoses. Some of us have had fabric hoses, and the biggest problem with them is that they're very fragile. When you're using them out in your yard, if you have anything like a fence post, chicken wire, or maybe you have barbed wire, your hose will get caught on there. I mean, everybody has roses. Your hoses will get caught on the thorns, and it'll tear, it'll pop, it'll fray, it'll scratch. Not with a metal hose, though. Her basic idea was, all these hoses are so fragile, what if we just made it out of metal? And that's the thing, is that all of a sudden now, because I have a metal hose, I don't have to worry about leaks, I don't have to worry about pops, I don't have to worry about scrapes. I have a perfect flowing hose going exactly where I want it to. And again, I can adjust from a more fanning to a full power spray. Like you were saying, that full power spray is so good for being able to wash down pavers, to wash your car. You get so much power. It's like having a little pressure washer in your pocket.
Well, I mean, this is very popular. Now, Jack, how many of these hoses can we connect end to end?
Oh, you can connect as many as you want end to end. So this is the 40-foot, and I can show you over here as well. The 40-foot can connect with 2, 3, 4. You can make this hose as long as you want. It expands and contracts, but the best part is it'll hook up to anything. So if you have an older Bernini hose, we'll hook up to that. If you have another hose that's not from Bernini, while I would suggest you upgrade, it will connect up to that as well. And you can see how easily it just reels on. This is so much easier to use than any of your standard rubber hoses. It wants to go onto the reel because it's so flexible, whereas those rubber hoses are usually a bit more of a challenge to get on. I think you would agree.
Oh, absolutely. And think about this. They're on sale for $26.98 per 40 foot. So depending on the length that you're after, this is a very affordable way to make sure that you're all served either in your front of your house, side, or the back, wherever the hose bibs are located. If you have a pool, these these are particularly nice because they help you add water to the pool, they help you wash off the deck, whatever the case may be. Don't wait, because if your hose is lying in the direct sunlight, not to worry about it collecting all that heat, because it doesn't. This is what makes the Bernini hose so, one of the many things that makes it so great. And I own 2 of your hoses. I have one on my front hose bib, one on my back hose bib, and they make a big, big difference. This is not like those fabric hoses that all go wonky and go in right angles everywhere. And you're also not dealing with an old rubber hose that is unwieldy and gangly and hard to store because it's heavy and bulky, right?
Exactly.
This is something that will just collapse down to nothing.
Exactly. This will collapse down to about 35 to 30 feet, and that's the amazing thing, is the expanding factor of this allows it to grow. So you'll watch as I pull on the metal hose, you'll see the links expand and contract. And so what's so great about that is that expansion and contraction is how the hose grows. That's why it's an expanding hose. So it's actually more compact with no water in it than it is with water in it. And here's the other thing too. That gangly rubber hose that you trot out every summer to go wash your garden or wash your car, all of those hoses, they get these like knuckles. They get these kinks in them that will never go away. And no matter what you do, they just want to stay in the same shape. A rubber hose, you might think, oh, it doesn't get that hot in the sun, but you know what it is doing? It's melting, and it's staying in that shape that it's melting in. Yeah. Whereas the metal hose doesn't absorb all that heat. It reflects all that heat, and in fact, it'll never kink. I've got it so flexible that I can tie it into knots, and it'll still work exactly as intended. With a full power blast, even with 30 knots, I still have full power and full control over my hose, even with all these knots in it.
This is what makes these hoses so great, and I will tell you, if you want to buy 2 of these, or even 3 of them, and connect them end to end, you can. If you have an older Bernini hose, it will work with this hose as well. So don't miss out on this opportunity. If you're looking for a great hose that is easy to store in the off season, I mean, I roll this up and I take it into my garage, and it's no big whoop. I mean, you bring this in, I hang it on a peg on the wall, and it's done. This is lightweight, it's easy, and so many people are making their choice. You're saving 30% off of our regular QVC price. Now, that's why watching a patio and garden clearance hour is so important, because we're going to put everything on sale pricing, either regular sale or clearance sale. Whatever the case may be, take advantage of this. If you've got your hose on a bed of nails, which you probably will never do, but we do this on our presentation to show you that this won't puncture. If you've got an RV, it goes inside. If it goes around a fence post or around the side of your house,
you can try and cut it with scissors.
You can't even cut it. This, I mean, even an electric welding tool won't make a difference on this hose. This is a remarkable piece of technology.
Super strong, stays cool in the sun, so it's not going to melt. It's not going to get too hot to touch. Again, that chrome finish reflects the UV sun rays and actually keeps cooler than most hoses. And the other benefit to this as well is it's super flexible. So it's easy to pull out and easy to put away. So much power. I mean, I just unfurled it in a few moments while we were on that video. And again, watch how quickly I can bring it all the way back in, and watch how easily it slides on. It's so easy to use, even on a handheld reel. I know a lot of people, it's like, oh, I got to get a spring-loaded reel, or I don't even use a hose reel because it's too much of a hassle to put my hose back on there. This, you can hand crank it on easier than you could use a assisted reel with a regular hose.
And you've got this nice big nozzle, so even if you have big meat hooks like mine, this is going to be very easy for you to hold on to, be able to aim it right where it needs to go, and whether you're cleaning up with this or you're watering with this, you can also adjust the flow by turning this top part of the nozzle, and you make it a very fine mist if you're watering things like ferns or delicate flowers. You can also do a turn it back this way and have it be a long, steady stream that shoots very high. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Everybody is buying multiples, and very, very popular in our show of Patio and Garden Today clearance, because many of you are looking for great deals, and we've got them for you. A whole hour full of great deals. And it's only the Friday before Memorial Day. We've got a lot of hot weather in front of us.
You know, and I love that point you bring up about the extra large grips. That was something that we wanted to make sure we did on our more recent hoses, because what we found is that those small little knurled edges that you would use, they were just too small. And so if you had trouble using your hands, or maybe if you have big hands, it was hard to grip them and get a good seal. With this, it's so big that you can easily cinch that down, and again, everything just screws on. But having that extra gripping area to be able to get a good grip, that's so important for making sure that your hose doesn't leak. It doesn't leak at the spigot, and it doesn't leak at the nozzle end either.
Okay, 400 of these are now gone. We have color, but the color you're ordering is in the nozzle. All of the hoses are a chrome color. Now, this is the gray. I also have it in blue. Green is most popular, and red is most limited. Please don't wait, because everybody is looking to make a big difference in how they are rinsing off, watering, or doing whatever they need to do with their water hose. This is also going to be something that really easily winds itself up, whether you've got a hose minder or you're just putting it in a little circle that you form with this. It's going to hold its shape and hide in the bushes until you need it again. This is what makes it so great. Many of you are buying more than one of these, and these can be hooked end to end. You can do an unlimited number of these end to end. So it's important to know, if you've got the water pressure, we've got the hose for you.
Exactly, and you can see here what the water pressure is doing. It's actually causing the hoses to expand. And again, that's what happens when you put this under pressure. It expands, it grows, it gets longer. So this actually will coil up into a more compact shape, but you still get all that power. And again, you can coil this into like a hand-sized pocket. I mean, I can literally coil this around my hand like so. That's how flexible this is. It's as flexible as fabric, but tough as steel. And that's what makes it so special, is that so many other hoses, they're heavy, they're cumbersome, or they're light and fragile. This is really hitting that perfect medium between a super flexible, super lightweight, while still being super tough and durable hose that you're not gonna find something that does everything very often. I find that in the garden, when it comes to watering, this hose does everything.
And you're going to love that we can help save you some money tonight and give you a hose that you're probably never going to need to replace. This is dynamic, and it's as important during the off season because it stores away so nicely. Wraps up, winds up so compactly, whether you are using a hose minder or you're just hanging on, as I do, on a pegboard in the garage. All of this works out really nicely and very, very efficiently. Please don't wait on this. So many people have placed their order in this presentation, and now 500 of these are gone. Many of you are looking to pick up a great garden hose this summer season, and a lot of people are picking up more than one. Remember, you can hook these end to end, and there is no limitation on the number. Just depends on how big your property is and what you need. So all of this is going to work out really nicely. Please don't miss out on this. Jack Yeiser, good to have you back. Please tell your father, John, we said hello.
Will do. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, buddy. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Now, we're not going to have time